For this Thanksgiving 2013, I'm gonna do I'm gonna retrace the steps of Chief Pluggy. Chief Pluggy, Mohawk Chief. He's the chief of the Mingo tribe, right? And I'm going to go to Harrodstown, the first settlement in Kentucky. I'm going to pass through the Licking River. There's a scene of a battle. There's McClellan's Fort in Georgetown. There's the Limestone River and the Ohio River. And then there's, I don't know if I'll get the Chillicothe or not, and then Delaware, Ohio, which is Pluggy's town. So Pluggy came from Pluggy's town, came on down here, attacked, died in Georgetown. So that's, you know, the place of burial. That's where he perished. So that's and when you die, right, in a fight club, you don't have a name during life, but in death you become, you know, you get a name. In life there is no names, but in death his name was Robert Paulson. Okay, so Chief Pluggy comes from Delaware, Ohio, marches in here, attacks several people, kills a bunch of people, kidnaps a couple, rushes into McClellan Station, shoots McClellan. McClellan eventually dies, but they kill Chief Pluggy, and then everybody else runs back. Once Chief Pluggy is dead, he come down with about 30 men. There is probably about 12, I think, white dudes in McClellan Station. So I think it was like 30 on 12, I think. I mean, I can't be 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So yeah, I'm ready to get on the trail. I'm going to do, this is the second annual Thanksgiving, so you can't have Thanksgiving on the same day, right? Our Thanksgiving is going to be the last Friday of every month. That's our Thanksgiving, the last fucking Friday. That's the first thing. So you all got your Thanksgiving. Next day is when our 3-day celebration begins. Okay, so all the people that you need to know for the entire biography of the story, you need to know George Rogers Clark. George Rogers Clark killed a whole shit ton of people. He's like 24-year-old dude. He runs the Kentucky militia. Conquers all these Indians in the Western theater of the American Revolution, and is known as the Great Conqueror of the Northwest, really the baby butcher of the Northwest. So George Rogers Clark is the first, one of the great, first, not great, but one of the biggest genociders out there. So they have George Rogers Clark is important for Louisville. He's the one that founded Louisville. He's the one that landed on Corn Island, and then people ran, the deserters on Corn Island ran away and started Louisville. So Louisville started from the deserters of George Rogers Clark's army. When they named it Louis after the King Louis XVI. That was George Rogers Clark who had got that done with the Virginia Congress. And then you had Patrick Henry. He ordered Pluggy's town to be destroyed. Later on, 77, eventually they called the plans off because they thought it would start a general Indian war. If they was to march through the Delaware to get to the Mingo, they think an Indian war would have started. There's Patrick Henry, there's George Rogers Clark, there's Simon Girty. Simon Girty and Chief Johnny Logan, or not Chief Logan, I think it was just Logan, but Johnny Logan, the Indian who had his entire family massacred on Yellow Creek Massacre. He just started a revenge killing and killed as many, an eye for an eye. So for every person that was killed in his family, he was killing somebody on the frontier. And so Johnny Logan, the Indian, a Mingo Indian who was with Pluggy, who was in Pluggy's town for a bit, he starts killing a bunch of Virginia colonialists. And because of this revenge killing, he was just, people started jumping on his band because of this revenge killing. The Lord Dunmore, the governor of Virginia, gets 2 battalions, and then you have Lord Dunmore's war. It's actually Johnny Logan's war. So Johnny Logan was the one that was, basically said, fuck it. He says, who mourns for me? Nobody. You kill my whole family. Daniel Greathouse during the Yellow Creek Massacre, which is in Ohio. So Ohio is the home of Jeffrey Dahmer, Yellow Creek Massacre. And Yellow Creek Massacre, which starts the American Revolution. If you don't know about Johnny Logan, you don't know about the American Revolution. Johnny Logan starts the American Revolutionary War. Battle of Point Pleasant is known as the first battle, but the battle or the Yellow Creek Massacre precedes the Battle of Point Pleasant. First battle was against Indians in the American Revolution. Last battle was against Indians in the Revolution. And it was against the Amerindian Indians. So the Battle of Blue Licks with Daniel Boone. That was the last battle, and that was also it was the last battle, but it was against the Indians. So if the first battle and the last battle is against Native Americans in the Revolution, is it actually about, you know, political freedom and independence, or does it have to do with colonizing new Indian lands? George Washington, if you try to desert his army, he would hang you. So, you know, that's just like Hitler and shit and Russians. Either you fight for our side or you fight for theirs, you know, by gunpoint. Who are you going to fight for? You're going to fight for them or us? You're going to fight for us because we tell you to. And if you try to run away, if you try to desert, then George Washington's going to hang you. George Washington's a third-generation plantation owner. So George Washington's part of the story because it happens in Georgetown, but it was called McClellan Station at the time. Eventually, Georgetown gets established at the same spot, and they name it after George Washington. And where they cross in the Limestone River in Ohio, in Maysville, that's Washington. It's called Old Washington now, and that was the first place named after Washington past the Appalachian Mountains. So we're naming all these hills and places after all these colonizers, these brutal colonizers, but not the people that are actually shedding blood here. It's not, and it's not Pluggy, it's Plucky. So Chief Plucky Minoti. So the Mingo war chief is Plucky Minoti. So Plucky Minoti, he dies in this fucking place, no grave, nobody knows where he died or what happened to the dude. But they named the town Georgetown, right? And George Washington, his Indian name, the Indians called him Cannot Carius. Cannot Top Carius. Cannot Top Carius. So Cannot Top Carius meant town destroyer. So Cannot Top Carius is town destroyer because he is known for, you know, the Sullivan campaign. He burned like 40 Iroquois villages down. When he became president, he led several campaigns into the Ohio Territory. So he was an Indian killer. He was a slave-owning, Indian-killing piece of shit. You know, people say revolutionary because he, you know, overthrew the British and stuff, but they were doing it over Native American lands. That's why Simon Girty deflected. Simon Girty's part of the story. White man deflects over to the Indian side. Johnny Logan's a part of the story. He come out Pluggy. Johnny Logan and Plucky Minoti, they was hanging out. So Johnny Logan, and I don't think it's Johnny Logan, that's the anglicized name, right? That's like changing Metacom's name to King Philip. So I think I should know who Johnny Logan is, but they just called him Logan and sometimes John Logan, but Johnny Logan just sounds like a fucking badass name. So Johnny Logan's the one that starts the American Revolution doing his revenge killing, because you have, you know, that starts all these battles and all this bloodshed. After all these revenge killings, they was put down, and then, you know, the so-called revolution starts, and then when the revolution starts, the Mingo, they didn't sign the treaty at Battle of Point Pleasant. They didn't compromise like Cornstalk did. They was going to keep on fighting. Johnny Logan would even go to the proceedings, and he reads a speech to Simon Kitten. Simon Kitten's a part of the story because Simon Kitten was at McClellan Station when Plucky Minoti's men attacked. And when Pluck Minoti died, so Simon Kitten would have witnessed how Plucky Minoti would have actually died. Plucky would have died because of something that happened at McClellan Station. Most likely, he comes in and gets shot. I heard he was retreating and got shot. Also heard that he got shot while he was running in. So either he got shot in the heart running in, or he got shot in the back running away. More likely to believe that he rushed in and got shot. But, you know, it could have been either way, and the details they're pretty sketchy. I'm getting a lot of good information, but they're pretty sketchy. The people that Plucky Minoti killed was actually some huge people. John Gabriel Jones and William Graydon and two other folks. They were like George Rogers Clark, main people. So okay, so these are all the people you need to know: George Rogers Clark, Simon Kitten, Simon Gertie. Simon Gertie and Simon Kitten were also blood brothers, but it just shows you actually you should never give a motherfucker a chance, because Simon Kitten does all these fucking shitty deals throughout his life. He's there were several times Shawnee was about to kill Simon Kitten, made him run the gauntlet 2 times, condemned him to death. He says you're going to die, and then he is alive, right? They don't kill him, and then they condemn him to death again. So Simon Kitten's on, the Shawnee was going to kill him. Simon Gertie says no because they was blood brothers, and then Simon Kitten's fucking chasing Chief Pluggy all the way through Kentucky, through the Limestone Creek and Ohio meet. They spared him, and then he's at the bottom of things, where Tecumseh dies. So he's going through all this, this rigmarole, and and for what? What did Native American people get? Simon Kitten, they should not have spared Simon Kitten's life, because Simon Kitten continues killing Native Americans, and since they shouldn't have spared Daniel Boone his life. But see, that's the thing with the Native Americans, they actually have like some sort of consciousness. When Chief Logan was going around, when Johnny Logan was walking around killing all the Virginia colonialists, it was a morning war, and it was proportional. He was killing the same amount of people that was killed at the Yellow Creek Massacre. Daniel Greathouse actually takes his sister and cuts the baby open, and then scalps the baby, right? Kills the woman, pulls the baby out, and scalps the fucking baby. That's what the Virginia colonialists did to Johnny Logan's family. And so Johnny Logan was going out proportionally 1-to-1. So Johnny Logan and the Native Americans has more respect and more, proportionality, more of a conscience, more of a tit for tat than what the Pilgrims or the Puritans did, who just massacre entire fucking villages. The Thanksgiving is all about the massacre of Indians. After the massacre of Indians would happen, the white people would celebrate Thanksgiving to say, thank God we killed all those savages. And they wouldn't even think of themselves as hypocrites. They were the savages, they were barbarians, Puritans were the chosen people, they were going to heaven, they were predetermined, God had chosen them as their people to get to heaven. Indians were not the fucking chosen people, they were going to go to hell. It didn't matter if they lived or died. That was the fucking Puritan and the Pilgrim's way. That's the Thanksgiving feast that we celebrate. The Wampanoags, Squanto, he helps it. He teaches the Pilgrims how to hunt, how to fish, how to do all this shit so they could fucking survive. And then after they were taught the way the Pilgrims think of them, 50 years later, they put Metacom's head on a fucking stick. For 24 years in the middle of downtown Boston, just to show every person that walks through Boston, this is what's going to happen to you. So that's how the Puritans and the Pilgrims treated the fucking Wampanoags, that treated them good, that treated them nice. They wiped them out, total warfare. They used biological warfare. There was terrorists. They used violence against civilian population. Johnny Logan was doing eye for an eye. So he wasn't looking to wipe out the whole nation. He was saying, you kill mine, I kill yours. 1-to-1. It would be like, it would sort of be, I guess, like the war on terrorism in a little bit. But a pirate was to attack some American ship on the high seas. And I don't even want to make an analogy with it. One just fucking full out total warfare, wipe out everybody, genocide. And the other one is just kill a couple of you. They don't have the mentality. The English colonialists are fucking more vicious and more barbaric and have no apprehension of killing a fucking Native American. They don't think they're actual people. Okay? So even though there's all this bloodshed by both sides, the Native Americans are more fucking fair, more decent, even though there's Squanto's whole family was killed, kidnapped, died of smallpox and shit. And he was enslaved. He knew how to speak English because they had kidnapped him and took him to England. And he still didn't hate the white people. He still helped the white people. So they're much more humble. They're much more universal. They're more fair. Ideals of justice is more in tune, in line. So they should have spared Simon Kitten. They was blood brothers, but they shouldn't have been. Simon Gertie says, fuck the British and the Americans. I'm going to go Injun. I'm turning Native American, and then he did. And so Simon Gertie was fighting for the Native Americans, and Plucky, Mino T, and Johnny Logan, and everybody. So they was fighting for their own lands. They were the only ones actually being revolutionary. George Washington wasn't revolutionary. Chief Pluck Mino T was revolutionary, and so is Johnny Logan.